Good morning, Converter Crew. Welcome in. Thanks for joining our live stream. Hopefully, all are doing well today. Back at it today. Yesterday, we were out of town, so we weren't able to do a live stream. We forgot to tell you, so I'm sorry about that. But we are back here today, jumping back in. Checking out the charts again. Yesterday, we had a little bit of an up move, more or less sideways, kind of ran sideways throughout the day, and then had a little bit of an up move around 10 to 12 or so, and then the rest of the day kind of traded sideways. Nothing super interesting, but kind of making a sort of cup and handle here on the 15th. So we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see what's going on as we jump into the charts today, but yeah, just thank y'all for joining. Looks like we've got Terry here, Kathleen's here, Spirit Maker's here, so welcome to y'all. Thanks for joining. Good morning to y'all. Like Spirit Maker said in his last message, make sure y'all hit that like button on your way in. It helps our channel grow and helps us, just reach more people and get our word out. We're looking to trade this though today, seeing what's going on. So we'll have to jump in and get everything ready. But yeah, overall, pretty decent looking day. We'll see what the market recap has to say. Just looking at it beforehand, it's actually not looking like much of anything really for BTC. These are actually the levels I believe on here already. Already set them up, I guess, but we'll go ahead and set them up again. But yeah, not looking like too great of a day. There's not really much in the way of downside or upside, so we'll see how it goes as we jump into it. Let's head on over to Kubota.com and we'll see what's going on. So today in the market recap, in the market radar, we got 102% magnet on ETH. So that's pretty much the only trade for today. We got an upside trade on Ethereum. There's no downside risk really. Not that we couldn't go downside at all, but the probability to go to downside is pretty low. We are in a death zone trade for the downside, so really there's nothing there for us to look at. Pretty much everything else is in a death zone as well. So we got BTC with 72% either way, both in the death zone, and then Solana with 21% on the upside and 26% on the downside, also in the death zone. So yeah, not a whole lot of interesting trading going on today in terms of our system. Still pretty slow. Kind of starting to rotate into that longer run, it's looking like. So we'll see what happens here as we continue up. Right now we're kind of at a level of resistance, which we'll kind of cover here in a little bit. But yeah, interesting. There is a little bit on Ethereum, so we'll go ahead and check that out as well a little later. But right now, let's go ahead and get our levels for BTC. Go ahead and click data here, head back to our chart, and we'll go ahead and open up our indicator and paste our levels right into there. On Thursday, if you just have a regular indicator, you just go ahead and select it all and paste it. You can either right click it to do that, or you can use keybinds with Control C or Control A to select it all, and then Control V to paste it. So that's kind of the levels that we're looking at. We got our 30-minute range right here in the middle, more or less, of the levels. Down here is our daily support on the upside of our breakdown triggers. So that's kind of interesting there that it would be sitting above it, and that shows somewhat of a jailbreak trade to the downside, even though the gap's not big enough. If the gap was a little bigger, that's what we'd be looking at. For the upside, we just have a typical magnet trade, even though it's not set up. So obviously we're in the death zone. We do have that magnet trade with the daily resistance right here, and then our daily breakout trigger right there in the green. There's also some resistance zones here to the upside, with some different long-term resistance zones being right here. This is our other indicator we have, actually, so you can see there's resistance zones there. There's resistance zones here at 75. So just a decent amount to the upside. There's also resistance to the downside here, or sorry, support to the downside here with this zone right here, and then there's another one down here around 73,500. So yeah, not really saying too much in terms of what way are we going or what are we looking to do, but that's kind of the levels there. If we go ahead and throw our fibs on here, typically with your Fibonacci, you'll see if you drop between a zone like this, you're going to see a price action trade on either one side or the other of your 50% line. So right now we've kind of been on the top more than on the bottom, so that's a good sign for breaking to the upside. However, we have recently been making lower lows, so there's a possibility too that we'll come down and break out of the downside too. Maybe we'll set up a little bit more price action below that 50% line before we break down, but who knows? It's just hard to tell. It's kind of all over today. There's no real clear direction yet. We'll have to just watch the chart and continue to check it out as we kind of jump into it. But as of right now, yeah, there's nothing really going on. And again, there's no actual like Kubota system trades. So in terms of looking at it for a possibility of taking a trade today, there's really nothing going on unless you're going to trade outside the system, or kind of trade with the system but kind of just forget the gaps. There's a possibility there. If we do break to the upside, Spirit Maker is probably light. Let's go ahead and check this out. So our first target would be around that 75,640. 75,900, 76,448, and then he says the hour is calling it that 77.6. That would be almost to our, what is that, 5? Yeah, our 5th target here. About halfway between our 4th and 5th target here on the Fibonacci. So that'd be a pretty interesting move today. Definitely not called out by the system, like I said before. So you're kind of, if you are trading, you should be a little bit more advanced. You're going to be taking this, yeah, without the gap. So there is a greater risk for sure, just in terms of the system, but it's there. Low for the target is 76,500. Pretty close to target 3. That'd be pretty interesting there. You know, if you took something like, oh, that's kind of cool. They changed the symbols here, so now there's a L and a S within the long or short position. That's actually pretty nice because it's hard to tell which one you have a lot of the times. You have to just kind of open it up. It's actually really nice. So over here, it's not that crazy, but on like this thing, oh man, that's going to be so much better because there's an L here now and an S. And before you had to kind of just like hover over it and be like, oh yeah, that's the long, and okay, that's the short. And I believe they looked sort of different, but they weren't different enough that you could even tell really like what the difference was. So yeah, interesting. There's our long there. So we'll go ahead and throw this here. Throw our target up there, and stop's got to go below the 30-minute. So 2 to 1, not bad if you took it just perfectly as it broke out. You know, it's going to be hard to call that there. Yeah, it is cool. I didn't know they did that. I just open it up Well, actually, I was like, what's this L thing? And then I realized, oh, it's a long position. So it's kind of cool. I don't think they changed any of the other ones. Maybe some of these. I don't really use those, so I don't know. I don't see any more, but maybe they did. I don't know. You'll have to let me know in the comments, I guess, if you guys have noticed any changes in the little icons over here. I know they changed like this side over here a while ago. They changed, I believe one of them. I don't remember what it was. It's always like cool, you know, at the time, and then you kind of get used to it, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's how it was. And then you might remember, oh yeah, they changed something about over here, but you don't remember exactly what it was. So kind of just the nice little updates, you know. Yeah, that's our position there, though. Target 3 is sort of likely, I guess. You know, whatever you take, you are risking more. Because like we said, it is technically a magnet trade today. The gap's just too tight, so if you were going to take it, you'd technically be targeting this if the trade had actually set up. But if we kind of don't mind the gaps there and just trade, that's kind of what we're looking at. Again, you want to be a little more advanced. You want to have a little more in your pocket as you're kind of jumping into this. You don't want to just jump in because it broke the line. It's not our system. It's not set up. So, I mean, it is our system, sort of. It's a advanced usage of our system, I guess. So, typical traders, typical people that are taking this, I would just say, you know, watch out. That'd be kind of what I would be thinking. Again, not any kind of financial advice or anything. We're just here for educational purposes only, but that's where my thinking would be there. Let's go ahead and set up Ethereum as we're kind of waiting for this 838 to 845 candle to close. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this trade here on Ethereum. Oops. And we'll head back to Kubota.com and get our data here. There we go. And we'll head back to our chart here and paste it in. Alright, that's what we're looking at today. Wow, there's actually a pretty big gap on the upside too. Kind of interesting. This at first I kind of saw this and I was like, oh man, this gap between the breakout and the daily support is not that big, and then I realized, oh, that's the daily support, not the daily resistance. So the daily resistance is way up here, so there is a pretty decent gap there, like we already kind of knew, I guess, from the battle box telling us on the radar. But if we were to take this, it looks something like this. Another 2.3 to 1 or so, 2.4 to 1 for the Ethereum trade. That's kind of what we've been thinking. Again, there is similar setup to what we've seen kind of before, especially on the channel and whatnot. There is a resistance zone right here below our daily resistance. So if you were to take this, the safer trade would probably actually be something like this. Not that we couldn't run up to here. Technically, if we set up a trade like this is what you're targeting, is that magnet trade to the daily resistance or daily support, I guess, if you're going to the downside. But for the upside to that daily resistance is what we're targeting with a magnet trade. That's where we'd be looking at taking it. Let's see what that is. So if we were to take our levels here, that would be almost a target 3 there. A little bit over target 2. If you're going to play conservative, like I said, and just take it before we hit any kind of resistance, you'd be looking at a target 2 for sure at 1.64%. Sorry, 1.64 to 1. So not a bad trade either way. You know, you take a little money off. That one's a little more, can't really say guaranteed, but it's definitely higher probability than if you're looking for it to go all the way up to this daily resistance. So nice and high probability, nice trade overall. Definitely something to kind of watch for today if you're looking to take something. Go ahead and get rid of these. So many positions over here. I can just get rid of a lot of them. All right, there was our predator candle close. So we're looking at pretty much a predator with the span of almost to our daily breakout trigger and breakdown trigger. So we got our predator high at 74,973 and predator low right here at 74,446, right at our 15-minute 200 about right now. SMA 200. Actually, let me check. I might be using the... Oh yeah, 200. SMA 200. If you guys are looking for a good moving average indicator, CT Mac is pretty good. You can change a lot of the settings. Like if we open it up here, you can change. Well, first off, you can change what level they are, and then you can change their color. You can change what kind of moving average line they are. So you can use SMA, EMA, RMA, WMA, HMA, LSMA. So a bunch of different ones. Typically, we just stick to EMA and SMA, but SMA is really just for the 200. But EMA overall, not too bad. So check it out. Yeah, it's pretty nice, pretty interesting. And I guess you can copy my my EMAs there that I have on my chart if you'd like. We've been kind of messing around with it and changing them up a little bit as we kind of get into some of the well, as we've been kind of, just checking around, messing around with it, checking out some different levels, trying out different people's stuff, and that's why we've been using so many different indicators and stuff too, is just trying out some different stuff, checking it out, especially with how the market's been a little harder to trade lately just due to oh my, I'm so sorry. Just due to, I don't know, it's just being sideways. Oh, again, well, let's check out this now. So head into the investments tab. We're looking at our line we've been talking about for a long time. This 50% flip line here, 70,500, almost 600. And we've been kind of trading throughout this level. And right now, that resistance I was talking about is right here. So we came up and we hit this right here. And you can see we kind of hit it 3 times now with a kind of come up and tap into it right there. Really, I guess you could even say if we started it way back here. Let's just actually throw a line on there for purpose of checking it out. Right here, you can see we kind of came down and bounced on it a little bit before breaking through. And then after we broke through, we've been fighting with this 50% line, and upon breaking that line, we came up and tested this resistance again. And then we came up, tested the resistance again there, and then now we're on our 4th time, technically, of testing that. Well, 3rd time testing the resistance, 4th time of hitting the line again. So it's a pretty good resistance line there. And we're showing some signs of resistance here, even a possibility of breaking down. If we look at the different charts, though, just moving throughout the 1 hour all the way down to 15, the 5 minute, there's a possibility we break down a little bit today, just in terms of kind of reading it with TA. It's looking like we're going to break down, at least for the first part of the day. There is a nice possibility that we continue to run. with the indicators kind of saying this is starting to look like more of the bottom of this short little flag, I guess, coming out of yesterday. So we'll see what happens. Overall, in the longer time frame look, we are still in a sort of flag kind of happening here, something like this. You know, just kind of happening. We are kind of in a little bit of a downtrend flag like this, and now we've kind of run out into a longer flag time frame. So pretty interesting. I believe, I don't know what this one's called. One of the traders we follow a lot, he called this the Twisted Sister, but you got your breakdown here and then kind of running sideways a little bit. So we'll see if this pattern end up playing out. Like I said, we could break down a little bit here. How far will we come? Probably not super far, I wouldn't think, if we're gonna hold this this flag, I guess. And then if we do hold that flag, we'll be looking at a little bit of a flip here on the indicators. So that'd be good for us. We do need to kind of get this 15-minute though down, let it kind of reset a little bit and tell us that it is in fact going to continue up with the just tell us that it's going to set up and start to break up. 5 minutes telling us the same thing. We're going to break down here a little bit. So I guess if you guys were looking to take something, you could take a small position here, I guess, to the downside, but you know, again, not the likelihood of it breaking down is there, but overall the market does look like it wants to break up. I guess we are in a small micro trend of a downtrend, micro bear trend, I guess. So yeah, there's that position. I guess you could look at that. Getting the breakdown here. Wow, okay, yeah. Really breaking down. We're on the 5 minute. This thing's just tanking. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how far down I'd go. Let's see. Set up the targets here off of our lines. Maybe 2, I guess. You know, we were a little late. If we were actually trying to get into that, we would definitely not got in. But we'll say we got in. We were talking about it right then. But yeah, just a little downtrend, small downtrend trade. Yeah, we're not looking for it to go too far. Honestly, if I actually had just thrown this on and it already was breaking down like this, I'd probably be getting ready to pull it, really. Yeah, I mean, we still have a decent amount of downtrend room left. That's what's kind of interesting. You got a lot of down room, really. It's not a bad trade, actually. Oops. Maybe we'll even come down here to 73,000 or so. We'll just take a nice 2-to-1 though. We'll just say, you know, hey, nice little trade here. Obviously, way too fast for us to jump into. I didn't think it was going to break down like that, but it did. And so now we'll see what happens here with our target 2. We've been kind of watching these kind of things like this. Obviously, the system's kind of hard to trade right now. This is a little more advanced on how you're looking at it. Definitely not for everybody. We'll say we pulled it right there. All right, 101. Woo! Nice. So put on 200. You just made 200. Could have made a little bit more. Oh, boom! It's gonna hit the target 2. And there we go, we hit our target 2. So even if we had stayed in it and we were looking at that target 2, we would have just got out. 1-to-1 though, not bad. It looks like it's going to continue down. We still got a decent amount of 5-minute room left below us. Same thing with the 15-minute. Looks like there's definitely some downtrend. Momentum here, again, did not think it would break down like that. I thought we'd be a little bit slower. Honestly, that candle's a little worrisome. That was a giant candle. I mean, absolutely massive candle. That would scare me if I... That's why, like, where I pulled it, or like where I pulled it on the trade, that's why I'd be looking at pulling it, because of that candle that just happened. That is not something you want to see, especially right after you get into a trade. I mean, you know, it's great if you hit your trade, but it's just, oh man, it's just a lot of volatility just came in. Typically you see that right before a flip on the market. Yeah, I mean, the charts are kind of telling us that we could continue down, but man, that was a massive drop. Yeah. I don't know. That could have been the trade for today, I guess. But yeah, we'll see what happens. There's a possibility, I guess. Possibility we just continue down for sure. It's definitely looking like that's a definite possibility. There's also a possibility, you know, we kind of trade sideways, get it closed here. We'll get that indicator kind of drop down a little bit, and then we'll see the flipping start to happen, and that'll be telling us we're going to start going the other way. In reality, I'm thinking that we're going to run the other way. It's just a matter of time. Must be testing some kind of level down here, maybe the screen, just taking out this resistance zone here in the green. Or sorry, this, well, yeah, support zone here in the green, support resistance zone, depending on. Yeah, overall, I don't know. Again, hard market to trade, no kidding. There is so much resistance, so much like up, down, sideways, all over price action. Definitely a hard trade. I know a lot of traders and stuff are having a lot of issues just trying to get their systems work and get in and out of trades in a good way, and not just get destroyed by the market right now. It is definitely a hard time to be a trader, but we're looking pretty nice. If we continue to break up here, could break up and continue up. We want to get above this kind of zone before we see a nice confirmation, you know, that we're actually gonna flip and start to go bullish. You know, gonna look at this. Yeah, so we did have our, yeah, I'm thinking this kind of started to tell us the bottom here. So that for this indicator, this green line typically means you're going to see a bottom, not that candle, but like pretty soon. So we got that green candle here. Typically what you'll see after something like that is you'll actually see a drop farther. So, you know, kind of backwards from what you'd think with this telling you calling the bottom. But you'll see a drop lower. And then actually a lot of times what we'll see is you'll see the price action kind of come back up, clear the neckline idea, or at least get close to it, and then we'll come back down and make a sort of right shoulder, and that'll be confirmation that we're making this bottom here, and we're actually going to flip and turn. These are kind of hit or miss on the smaller time frames, but in terms of like the longer and longer you get, the more like when you see one of these, it's actually a pretty good sign. So seeing this on the daily, massive sign for we're actually going to continue up to the upside. So yeah, really we just want to see price action continue to break up, go up. That's that level I was talking about here on our investment chart. So if we break up here, at least run into this resistance here, if not break it a little bit, and then come back down. We want to see a 0.618 of the move. So if we draw, let's say we broke above it a little bit, we'd want to see price action kind of go from where it is right now up, hit that line there, and then come back down, hit our 618. Oop, I drew that backwards actually. Yeah, let me flip this around. Oops. There we go. Alright, something like that. Yeah, okay, so we break up, right? Come up, hit that resistance, come back down, hit our 618. You might even go like something sideways here, and then we'll break up, and it'll just continue up, and that'll make our head and shoulders zone. You know, it might not be so direct like this, but more or less that's what we're looking for the chart to do. Just kind of a little trade up, hit our 0 line, hit our resistance somewhere around there, and then come back down, hit that 618 of the move. So your fib lines are going to be drawn from the bottom of the move up to the wherever we actually end up turning around, starting to come down. You'll draw that, and then you'll look for the 618 of that move. I already have them on here actually, so you could just use this. But yeah, could be pretty interesting next couple of days. If we start to break up, we could see a little bit of an up run here up to here, and then we'll see that flip, a little bit of a downtrend, and then we'll flip and go to the upside. So you know, who knows, as we continue to run into this, we'll just have to play it day by day. It's kind of how our system works anyways. But it could be coming back in here pretty soon, especially with the market kind of behaving like it is. So who knows, you know. Yeah, honestly, we'll see what happens today, though. Definitely a massive down candle. I would be leery of just jumping into continuation off of that. There's a possibility, you know, with the 15 kind of looking like we're going to continue to the downside. But, you know, there's also a possibility we could kind of flag out here on this sort of resistance here at the green trend line, and then show signs of a bottom and start to flip and go back up. So yeah, we'll just have to play it by ear, see what happens, see how we go. But yes, definite large bottom there on, or large candle here on the 5 minute. So, well, on really any of the charts, pretty big candle. So yeah, anyways, that was pretty much it. So not a whole lot going on today. We got a little bit one-to-one trade, you know, pretty fast. Like I said, technically we know we're a little slow on the entry, but more or less we took a paper trade, I guess. Just something fun to do on the live. Little more advanced than something we typically would do on here. But again, yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for hitting that like button. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we hope to see y'all next week on Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. We will be live again. Hopefully, I'll be feeling a little better next week. For some reason, I got somewhat of a cold or something today, and yesterday. No, it just came down with it or something. But like I said, we will be in town next week, as far as I know. So yeah, sorry about yesterday. We meant to mention it on Monday, but we meant to mention it on Tuesday, but we completely forgot. So yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday at 8:30. So if you guys are looking to catch up with us, check out what we got going on for the live stream, and hopefully see a little bit of some upside moves here for the longer trend. Who knows? That's just everything, you know, in trading is just probability. So we're just saying the probability to the upside is pretty high, and it doesn't mean that we're going to be right necessarily. But yeah, again, yeah, hopefully see those upside trades. So thank y'all for watching. We will catch y'all next Tuesday, and happy trading to y'all. Bye.